Couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done. Sorry. Because at the time it happened, there were no peephole in the door. Yeah, I remember this is where we left off. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies. We didn't get him yet though, huh? Order, order, order! I am satisfied that the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness's testimony was entirely fallacious. That's not the only thing we know. We now know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant guilt can no longer be denied, though when tampered with a crime scene. But more importantly... Good lord, there's more, Lord Von Zykes. The defense may have established a reprehensible assistant of perjury. That is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene, it's true. We don't have him yet. And I was shot in the arm, it's true, but that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh gosh. Oh please, no! I don't believe this, but they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Still, he can't worm his way out of it now. Iris? You know what they say. There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. I guess. Isn't that right, Runo? As Hurley always said, one lie begets another. No, wait. That might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there's a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What? Objection! He saw the crime scene. This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris is right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They show that Mr. Green has knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely the bloodstains on the coat. The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat. That's right. The victim's blood splattered all over her when she shot him. But how could you possibly have known that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the peephole in the... You see now, huh? The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously I... Has the cat got your tongue, witness? The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Yes, of course. Did he tell him? The place is chock full of pawn articles and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock and shifts so we get through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door, so the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet the fact remains that Mr. Gray did maintain that he witnessed a crime take place through the peephole in the door.
How on earth is that possible? Could I have a word, please, Lord Von Zykes?
Speak, Inspector.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you...
Permission denied.
Oh?
It's not at all the same to me, Inspector, not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes.
Of course, sir.
Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize I trust that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications.
Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be.
Who is this person in question, counsel? Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
I hate to say it, but it's you.
Take that!
Truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson.
Me?
Objection!
You had better some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend.
Consider the fact that we've only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today.
Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with great agency during our hour-long recess, while the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communications station.
And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea, no inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned?
Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder.
You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information,
So that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
This is a bloomin' outrage! Why would I be giving away details of our investigations to this fella, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case, had you forgotten that?
Quite true, I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
which means the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred.
Oh, I've just remembered something, Bruno. What is it, Iris? There was one time before I wasn't there. I think it was when Ginny was testifying. Oh yes, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGildet's music box from the scene of the crime. That's it. It was during that testimony. They were talking with each other. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion. It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then.
You little Torag! You're making all this up! I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke?
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps, as part of a deal of some kind, then it starts to make more sense.
What deal, counsel?
I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance.
Well, will I?
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusations is this Nepalese student's specialty.
I thought he'd be on my boat by now. Guess not. I don't do that.
But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim.
Evidence?
Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal.
The music box or the second disc, perhaps? Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon. And logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it.
Bruno, do you think it could be...
Yes. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle. The manuscript? I don't know.
I must press you for an answer, counsel. Whatever this explains the nature of the alleged deal that Inspector Gregson made with the witness.
Would it be the manuscript? I mean, we don't know anything about it. Huh. I mean, we haven't presented it yet, right? Let me look at the history again. Strike a deal. Ha. Let's go with this, I guess.
Take that!
At first I thought it was the manuscript only because we haven't presented it, but I mean, I also thought it was the music box or the second disc. Inspector Gregson? Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case?
What? What are you getting at now, Sunshine?
Is it possible that this other top secret case is what's alluded in the newspaper article here? Classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice?
How the bleeding door could you?
We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGilded. Special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs were in McGilded's possession are the leaked classified secrets. So, I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case.
You little... Ah!
Order, order, order. On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windibanks, you said this.
I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine.
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Scotland Yard already knew that at the time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets?
My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush.
And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume? Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information.
Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all.
Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness, to aid and abet this man in giving false testimony?
There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men. No! Oh!
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth. You mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom?
Wait, what? In this room? How could you possibly make a claim like that?
Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective.
What?
What's that supposed to mean, hey?
As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly, he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious, then you mean to say Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person?
Yes!
The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once.
Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before. And Grexy hasn't moved from the witness stand.
Unless they slipped it in someone else's pocket. My lord, please, order an examination of his personal effects immediately.
Well, Inspector,
This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough. However, if it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, then I'll happily submit to a body search.
What? He's going to agree to it?
I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you'll be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded.
Yo, how's it going, Serena? That sounds serious.
indeed, to have a visiting student make such defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
Hydrate? Alright, you got it.
You're just threatening Runo because you're scared.
The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences.
It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. I think they slipped it in someone else's pocket. Wow. You getting me drinking a lot today, huh? Here we go. Appreciate that.
Very well, counsel, you know the implications, so let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects?
Let's see. Let me read this again. Search someone else. Serena.
Hydrate.
Hydrate indeed. Serena, 10 months. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. Much love to you. And thank you for keeping me hydrated, too. So I don't dry up. Yes, the defense formally demands the search be conducted. Well?
Don't say you weren't warned, but your typical Nepalese stubbornness may land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good.
Fair enough, I've got nothing to hide. Very well then. Bailiff, conduct a search of the inspector's personal effects, please.
Oh, that was a weak one. The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson.
What? Now what's all this about? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you wanted to search me.
No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else.
What's the meaning of all this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational.
By the way you're reacting, I'm assuming I'm on the dot here. Be quiet, all of you. Iris? Oh, shoot.
Rito's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. So, you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way.
I see.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits his next words.
You what? Don't be hasty, my lord.
I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today. I'm fairly sure that I know who has the disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be.
Counsel, of whom do you request this search now?
Wouldn't it be funny if it was Mario and Luigi? That's gotta be him.
Take that!
Mr. Ashley Graydon, my lord. The defense demands that he be searched at once.
Very well, I presume you will not protest, Mr. Graydon.
En contraire. I don't know what that means. Am I wrong here? And so a brief body search was carried out by the court bailiff. A few short minutes later, it was revealed that Mr. Graydon had nothing unusual in his person at all. Ah, shoot! I was wrong! Ah!
Oh, counsel?
I'm not thinking about the things I've seen in court today. Okay, they put it in Gina's pocket then.
Take that!
My lord, the defense demands that this person be searched at once.
Good grief, what possible relation could exist between that person and the kid?
Objection!
Well, okay, I guess I'm just missing this all. Alright, Serena. Good luck with that. Hopefully you have enough, like, things to go off of. Thanks for, dropping in. Have a good one. Well, dang. Is it Mario or Luigi then?
The Grexy doesn't have the disc at the moment. The question is, where could he have hidden it?
Trouble is, he's been in the witness stand the entire time in full view of everyone in the courtroom. Not an easy situation to which go about hiding anything, really. There's honestly only one place he could have possibly have hidden it then.
Perhaps in another person's pocket. Somewhere with them in the storm.
Okay, so it's gotta be Luigi then.
Take that!
Of my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Well, I never.
Blimey.
Me? Him?
Very well then, bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Please, my lord.
Inspector.
Scotland Yard has to object to this search.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. Eh? In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object.
But Lord Von Zykes!
I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial. Oh,
Bailiff, carry out the search.
no. Hold on, no, I don't know about nothing. Nothing about no disc.
Cut it out! Ah! Here, my lord. In the witness's pocket. I found this.
Good lord, that's...
Another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about nothing. That's the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Is it not, Inspector Gregson? Hang on for a second. Doggo barking. 1 sec. Sorry about that.
Mr. Skulkin, what do you have to say for yourself?
Go ahead, Bennett. I mean, just go ahead and Fleming Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc. Honest to God.
Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
And for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. At one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
I don't recall what unusual behavior.
It was, yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket?
I admit to nothing of the sort.
Oh, forgot about that. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by its coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, he did it all. Thought me noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as my brother I was.
What exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got a clue. He just suddenly turned and grabbed me and whistled like that and started shaking me. Why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down the station? That's what he said. You had it right down my ear hole, he did. My head's still throbbing now.
The way the detective behaved when he was extremely out of character. Well, looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wig, he hid it. But I'm afraid I fail to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
He didn't want to submit it.
It would appear, my lord, the inspector was not at liberty to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions.
Orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush.
Hush-hush, a top-secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if the information would be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector?
I'm operating under direct orders from the ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question.
So, realizing that there is a chance you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness.
Does this mean?
He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him. He slipped the second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense? Well now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon. Are you prepared to admit to the accusation made against you of this alleged deal?
I got nothing to say.
Admit to it, yours truly, please.
Mr. Graydon?
Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed the disc to the inspector.
Then where did it come from? But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole?
I'm under no obligation to explain. You're under oath.
What?
Yes, I lied in my testimony. That I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with a detective. All of it is this young Eastern man's fancy. I have no idea what any of this is about. You... what?
Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Grain in order to acquire the disc?
Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice.
They don't seem to agree, though.
So as member of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions.
May your hearts be your guiding light.
This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in a concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put them out of the jury for their final leanings.
Oh, so we gotta, like, rely on the jury here. Or we're in trouble.
Well, now, as a fellow servant of Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector.
Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character.
Ah, even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurry to me. Well, as a fellow professional, I like to put my faith in a detective, really.
Graydon is highly skilled operator, stop! Currently in presence of idol, stop!
Detective has very much thrust in his eyes. More than this, I cannot say. I don't believe it. These 6 jurors are... They're going to believe Gregson? If they declare their decision now.
Is Jenny going to be found guilty?
If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose. Either some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windibank or stole those government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness.
Well then, counsel, I think it's time I impose on the jurors to declare their final decisions, no?
Real quick, I do want to save so we don't have to see all this again if I mess up. Okay.
That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court.
I'll let the judge call on the jurors to announce their leanings. Gina will be found guilty.
So there's no choice then, Reno. You have to throw some more evidence at them.
Isn't it? It all comes down to this. Who do I present evidence against? Gregson or Graydon? Leave it to the jury. Okay. Let me look here. What we have to do? So, I think we should probably lean on Graydon here. Graydon killed Windibank or stole those government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness. Struck a deal with the witness, or killing / stealing government secrets. We don't really have much to go off of anymore, though. Yeah, I'm not really sure here. Shoot. We never really looked at this, did we? Or did... Oh, no, we did. We didn't present it, but we did, like, use it at one point. It contains an article about secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. What if it's this? What if there's something in here about government secrets or something? That's why Sholmes doesn't want Iris to publish it yet. I don't know what to present here. Huh. That's all we got. Shoot. Okay. Photograph taken automatically, but let me look at these two photos again. You know what still bothers me? That to this moment, the stupid lantern, whatever, was never, ever brought up. Like, I don't know why that was even, like, well, whatever. I don't know. I get it's because that, you know, it's probably only broke and fell whenever they threw the Skulkin brother over the counter, but still, even when we were investigating, we didn't even, like, talk about it at the crime scene. So do we, I can't think of anything to prove that Graydon killed Winnebank. Evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with... Wait. What if we do have to present the book to Gregson to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with the witness? Oh my god. What if that's really what it is? Inspector Gregson, there is one final piece of evidence I would like to see. Or I would like you to see? Yeah.
What's that then?
If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leave us no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly. Oh, examine. Well, go on. This is my last chance. It looks like I'm going to have to force his hand here. This is probably completely wrong. This is so wrong and I know it. What on earth is that, Counsel? Irrefutable proof, my lord, yep, of the corrupt dealings that went on between these two men. I really for a moment thought that maybe you present this and it'll be like, look, Iris is gonna write this, release this in the release her manuscript about you. Better, you don't wanna, whatever. Alright. Oh, that's funny. Still got one more left, though, it's fine. There's no love lost between them, clearly. It was strictly business.
If you think about it, murder and treason are both such serious crimes.
Punishable by death.
So I don't think Suki's going to admit to either of any of them. I don't think Suki's going to admit to either anytime soon, do you?
No, but Gregson, on the other hand, he's just refusing to admit to what happened because he's been sworn to secrecy out of a sense of duty.
I wonder, if Gracie slips her seals because he's determined to do his duty, then perhaps prise them open. You don't have to be determined enough to do your duty too, Runa.
Of course, he'd do anything to follow his orders, so... So we do have to present to Gregson. At least I was right on that sense, you know? One final piece of evidence to get this detective to admit to the deal he struck with Graydon. Okay, let's look about this. I don't know why this would be it, but you know, you never know. I really have no idea. One final piece of evidence to get the defendant to admit... sorry, not defendant, detective, to admit on the deal he clearly struck with Graydon. Maybe we do have to show the paper. I'm gonna present the paper. Okay.
Take that!
Okay, we lost. Okay. Let's load it back up. Alright, rip. I'm not sure though. Inspector Gregson. Get him to admit to the deal. Huh. Did we get the ticket to the box? Shows a single bullet, okay. I'm still not sure. Wait, the music box disc?
Take that!
It was that, okay.
Is that Mr. McGillet's music box disc, Council?
Yes, the first disc of 2, which has already been placed in Mr. McGillet's special music box, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound procured by the music box again. Only this time, with the second disc we just discovered set in place as well.
Goodness, this disc, Council.
No, wait, I can't let you do that.
Why not?
Because it's got nothing to do with this case, that's why.
Objection!
Not true, Inspector.
Eh?
The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box are part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message, and now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. If you go letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that, it's treason.
And do you admit the charge? In order to protect those state secrets, you engage in unlawful dealings with the witness.
You're mad. You let that secret information out into the public domain. You'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Objection!
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. Now you continue to lie to the court, and all because by fair means or foul, you're determined to your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare.
I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. Yeah, you're just enjoying the show, aren't you, over there? My lord, if you please, the court must hear the sounds made by that music box.
Come on, Von Zykes, for Pete's sake, stop him.
Objection!
Oh no.
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this courtroom, my duty is to the law. So let me propose a toast to uncovering the truth. By fair means or foul. No!
Very well, the defense's stance here and that of the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen as this music box is set in operation once more. This time with the second disc in place and both discs playing simultaneously.
Here we go. Seems like it's going really fast. Listen to that, it's unmistakable now. It's Morse code. I wonder if that's actually like a code for something in real life, if you hear it and try to decode it. Shut that blooming box up! He says something about admitting it. Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you, or did you not, strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker's storeroom door, Inspector?
I did.
Stop! What are you doing, man?
It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess, we stood here in the stand together. Whoops. That's when he approached me with the deal.
Shut up, you imbecile! Shut up! Psst, you there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector, with me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you accept. More information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed.
I couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door and the bloodstains on the overcoat.
By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongfully accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury?
I did. But then it turned out the peephole had only been made that night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windabank.
You!
Here's his breakdown.
Traitor!
Oh shoot! He's gonna kill him. I feel like you could get out of that. I'm gonna the brothers.
Bailiff! Restrain that man! At once!
That's it then. It's all over. Did it. I despised my life growing up.
Oh, those slums are vile places. I was cursed from birth. Born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole.
You eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination.
But then you decide to try to sell government secrets? Why?
Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me up in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out with more money than anyone who lived in the squalor could ever imagine. Then one day I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilden.
You're a fiend with square talent.
So you are. The money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me little plan now.
I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic messages, logs, and go to buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections in the ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task.
Lure the devil's offerings. How easy it is to succumb.
But you must surely have realized the seriousness of your crime you were committing.
And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable.
By using the music box.
My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child.
Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton?
That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. Once he'd been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagine his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It was the first time I've seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier.
Look at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you've become, eh?
He was a different man to the one in my memory, a thin, frail old man. But poverty has never broken him, never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason, so I made up a story. I got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box disc, eh?
A musician friend of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I brought the score with me. There are two, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools, would you? They're in the loft.
That's how I made him make the two discs.
Thereby splitting the information in two. You were taking considerable precautions indeed.
It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant that I could deal with McGilded in two separate transactions. The first involved the first of the two discs and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas. Then on the receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas.
So what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago? Was the second part of the deal the exchange of the second disc?
Yes. I sold the man information that way a number of times already, but it seems he's become reluctant to part with his money.
That doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon. For why was it that on the omnibus 2 months ago, your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with McGilded and not yourself?
When I received the 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles.
That's nice of you, at least.
My father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. When he did, he said to me,
Next time there's an exchange, you'll let your old man do it, understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore.
Aw, you're still trying to protect his son after all that time.
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGilded, that's it. He had no idea what was actually on the discs I asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. It was only then that I found out what sort of monster McGilded really was. So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name. To exact revenge.
Revenge? So he killed McGilded then?
As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine, Magooda brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways to crush any semblance of justice in his trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. That trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish.
My feet had barely touched British soil back then, and I walked into that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background to it all.
I've made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in the city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself has shown me that. Are you saying that... I think you have the picture now. after he twisted everything to his favor in his courtroom to ensure that he walked free. I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved.
So it wasn't Von Zykes. Okay.
That tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly.
Magilda's death that day was caused by this man?
Everything is ready, sir, if you'd like to follow me into the courtroom.
What's this, officer? It's sooner than I was led to believe.
Hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I must be making tracks now. It is time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
So that policeman who came to tell Magilda who could examine the omnibus again.
That's right, an imposter, hired by me. Magilda used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence.
Hey, Jigsaw, how's it going? We just found out that it wasn't Von Zykes who killed Magilda.
He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony.
And then he forged evidence, yeah.
So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered Magilda inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death.
Spine-chilling account indeed.
But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was a loose end, you see.
A loose end?
Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with Magilda.
Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime.
When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with Magilda. This is the first of the 2 discs and the music box you need to play them.
Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, didn't get it for you, young man.
What's this? Windybank's pawnbrokery?
Aye. Tis a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. Oh, you can use it to redeem an article I deposited there for you. There's no need to give a man to name, just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend the watchword. I put the jewel in pawn for you. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will.
I've never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before.
Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London pawnbrokers are very useful places, we know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault.
Okay.
So I knew that if he had taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. And that on the night he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone.
Yes, to Gina. I remember now that when we first met you at Windybanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for?
From the trial, that pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another of Magilda's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket, so I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline.
And he was absolutely right.
And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until that girl went to Windybanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only Magilda's overcoat and the one disc that was in its pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing. Because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion.
Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we picked up on the fact that Magilda was involved.
Inspector? You recovered fast.
My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fella's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could.
Then when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbroker that day, I become nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc was still there in the shop somewhere, so I knew it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did.
So that's what prompted you to break into the place that same night. With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers.
What happened that night in the pawnbrokery, I could only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I've located the music box I sold to McGilded on the shelves of forfeited articles.
And the second disc was inside.
Yes, I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened.
What are you doing in my shop? Bang.
A gunshot rang out in the shop and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm.
The broker fired his gun and the bullet pierced your limb.
Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case.
And he did it because an eye for an eye. That's probably the only reason why he shot him.
Before I knew what was happening, I fired back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him.
Oh, okay.
But fortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. I struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom door for refuge.
A sorry tale.
It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Winterbanks on that wretched night.
Still, I do like that they led you on to believe that Zykes really did kill McGilded. We did it. Can't keep voting guilty anymore now, can you? Oh, I hate this silence.
Earlier you called McGuided a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder.
He's not any different.
What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilded.
Yes, I think I have.
Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial. However, it would seem that at least last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Green?
He's been restrained, my lord. This is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Winterbank and the stealing of government secrets.
Oh, that guy's never gonna see the light of day again.
Very good. And you, Inspector, regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself.
Yes, my lord. Of course.
It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. That fact remains whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Yeah?
It is time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, sir. Garrett Scotch standing by, sir. This is really it now. The last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
We did it. But man, I still have some unanswered questions, I feel. Like, oh, let me finish this real quick.
Haha! That's the stuff I took. I'm off the hook. Finally, Runo, you finally managed to do it.
Finally is the word. I wasn't sure if we'd come out on top for a while there.
Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world.
Miss Lestrade, I'm not finished with you yet.
Yeah? What? What are you looking at me like that for?
You're still in trouble, young lady.
Because before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider.
Yeah?
2 months ago, in my courtroom no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? In relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Winterbank's pawnbrokery, you also intended to abscond with Mr. McGilder's property, it seems.
Yeah? I never done nothing of the sort.
Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGilda's coat in your cell yesterday or anything.
Oh, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Ginny this evening.
Turning our attention to the defense.
Not guilty, but still kind of guilty. Maybe if one juror wants to say guilty, it's fine. she did do some things.
Determining that, when played together, the music box disc contained a message in Morse code was, well, certainly a most unexpected revelation, Counsel.
So I wonder why Van Zykes just came out of retirement. That's one question that's still on my mind. Is it just to, I'm assuming to punish McGildet and to thwart anyone who is, you know, like, in allegiance or whatever with McGildet or whatever. Or anyone for the matter of stealing the government secrets. That's gotta be it, right? There's another question I had, but I wonder if it's gonna get answered. I forgot. Oh yeah, what about the Russian guy? Is he really a revolutionary? And should we be worried that he wants to go to the Crystal Tower so badly? I don't know. I guess we'll have to think about that later. The only other thing I'm wondering is, I'll tell you later.
Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today.
I propose a toast.
To demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom.
Is he actually going to drink it this time? Very sorry about that. It was the only way that I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so... If I might say something on that point. Isn't that... Oh.
It's, about the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder, if that was really Morse code at all.
What? What are you saying, madam?
Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession one feels.
I'll just let her have her thing.
But I must say that in my opinion, the sounds produced by those two discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of two different...
So he tricked McGildet? What? What? Can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all? Or is that something else? My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again.
Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know McGilda conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies. Secrets acquired from Graydon. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further.
No, but it's really going to bother me. Well, we have one of the discs imprinted on that caramel.
Miss Lestrade?
Yeah, my lord.
That what you have been seen here today in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing.
Falsified evidence, imitation, perjury, a grim catalog of depravity.
An appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on, it ain't nothing I've done seen most days in the back slums.
I beg your pardon.
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes.
Gina.
But look, I reckon I worked something up today. The road ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you gotta start at home. You gotta change how you are with yourself.
Oh boy.
Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I really look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a pawnbroking business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant Miss Gina Lestrade
Not guilty. Give me all my confetti. Boop, boop, boop. And the fireworks. Even though that's definitely a hazard. Oh, she's shooting one up too. That's funny. Wait, was she the one shooting all the fireworks? No.
That is all court is adjourned.
We did it. We did it. Oh, well, why are we still here? This is weird. We never, I'll be honest, we never actually had a moment with Von Zykes. Like, we never ran into him outside of the courtroom or anything. Which is weird, because usually that happens in the other games.
On a personal note, I must say you surprised me, my far eastern friend.
Oh.
Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within that Englishman, and at the same time saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures.
I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. Not so very different on the inside.
You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom.
You did?
When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew, try to understand.
What's he talking about? You mentioned something similar earlier today, about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly?
Well, you may ask. And one day when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not.
Alright, then I'll wait for that day if I must. Is he finally gonna drink it? Okay.
Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, in my retirement from service 5 years ago, it gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow, until we meet again.
Is that it? Guess I'll have to wait till the second game, huh? The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. It's done. It's over at last. But where's Iris disappeared to? Ow! Oh, ah! Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent. Boy, that was a tough one.
Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me right up to the end. You're as good as your name.
What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I?
No one's ever has before, see? Kept the promise, I mean, properly.
It's awful.
I figured something out today. All my life growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. That's just cause I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down.
Poor thing.
Yes, I think I can understand.
Oh, yeah, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know, though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently, too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise to learning to trust yourself. When your gut tells you it's the right thing to do and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have to thank you for reminding me of that valuable lesson.
Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though.
I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure.
pack it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright.
Thanks. She's gonna cry. This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. The defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption. Is that Iris? Or Sholmes? Oh! The other guy's looking at too. But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow? That voice. It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Ha ha ha, yes, it was me all along, I would have said, when finally you noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling. Huh, Mr. It's like he's like waiting to like pop out and jump scare someone and they're just too busy talking and he got tired of waiting. It's your favorite Bobby. You mean Susato isn't your favorite? Susato's my favorite. Sholmes is a second though. Mr. Sholmes. Yes, it was me all along, you see? Dude, he still looks funny with that mustache, I can't. I assume you've been taken back to the hospital, to be honest. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Escape? Oh? I happen to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was attending to me. I merely made knowledge to them of them known to that man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. How very above board. But enough my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts just rewarded, I feel. Or justly rewarded. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat at you. Oh, thank you.
Some great detective you are. Great up being cold as ice, maybe.
Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade?
Why you been having a snooze in your nice soft bed? Some of us been fighting for our lives.
Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps as cold as ice, but, well... Have a feel. Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? What? And in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade.
What's that supposed to mean? Why are you so half-hearted?
Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but... An acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest.
Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Cause anyone who's found not guilty in a trial was working on what winds up dead anyways, is that it?
The very point I was trying to make, as exemplified by the fact of Mr. McGilded, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself.
Yeah, well, it don't bother me.
Oh, really?
Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like upstairs.
Him upstairs? You mean, like God?
Yeah, I'm upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. You would've got the wrong end of the stick. There are some covers that, like Bog, try to rot into the...
My brain can't anymore, please. Why did we not just let her be guilty and call it a day?
At the end of the day, I'm upstairs, make sure they got what they deserve.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. So cute with Gina's voice.
I ain't like the McGildeds of this world. I mean, I'm scared. I got Principal C.
A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade.
Oi, just give me a rest, alright?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina.
There you are, Hurley. How long have you been here? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Oh, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't even notice my presence at all. Ha ha ha. They have no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day.
I'll be careful. Ouch.
Anyway, it's such a shame. I was still hoping to throw a party for Jenny tonight. But you'll be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm gonna be going anywhere for a while. You're the judge's patter. I still got to make amends for, apparently, all them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering, checking the ball trotter stuff was it on the log, blah blah blah.
Yes, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense.
But I haven't an offense, it's a job, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Still, it's got me thinking all this.
By the way, Jigsaw. Sorry, a random note here. Are you excited for the WarioWare game coming out? It's like in 2 days.
Maybe we should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you hadn't started off as a lawyer, did you, Otto?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket.
Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them.
Excited for the new one? Me too.
That's a wonderful idea, Ginny, and I'm sure you can do it. Hehehe. What is it?
Oh, she is crying.
Nothing.
Miss Gina Lestrade? Prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once.
Right. Well, looks like I'm off then.
Yes, goodbye, Gina. And good luck.
And, Otto.
Yes? No, please don't shoot. Take that weapon away from her now. Ah! What was that for?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
Ah, indeed. But perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade.
Eh?
On occasions such as this, we say thank you. We don't shoot people. I would recommend a simple thank you.
Oh. Oh, yes, it's good advice, Ginny. Right, I see. Well...
Oh, just say it already. She took her hat off.
Thanks, Otto.
Aw. Oh, look at her. Oh, she's crying.
Thank you for everything, what you've done, for believing in me.
Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Oh, that was sweet. These games do have their little touching moments. Well, there she goes. Wonder if I'll ever see her again. Well, quite the indomitable pick purse.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I brought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trailer is all over the front page. Pickpocket's innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful?
You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled.
Oh no, how silly of me. Ah, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Ugh, not again.
Well, what do you say, Bruno? Hurley?
As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Absolutely not. I have no intention of listening to anything but good news.
And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it?
Let's not go there.
Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, perhaps, apparently.
Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort. Man, that wasn't really good news. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm glad it stopped, but... Oh, what's the bad news? Alright then, what's the bad news?
The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful. No sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more.
Wait, Dover? So we get to see Sasato.
That's right, if we head to the station immediately. We may still make it in time to wave Susie off.
Seems more like good news to me. But, there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes? I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. I don't. The great detective does it again. Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of rail transport directors' foibles. Herlock has our back. He does. What? Merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. You know, I gotta say, I get that they probably called him Herlock Sholmes just for legal reasons, but I'm actually really glad that his name is Herlock Sholmes and not Sherlock Holmes. It sets him off so different, I feel, in a way, especially with his character. I feel like it's very fitting.
What are we waiting for then to London Victoria?
Wow. That better not be the Titanic. Sasato, no! Sasato, don't go! Port of Dover. Wait, what time is it? 5:32 a.m. Jeez.
Don't let go, Jack.
That took somewhat longer than I anticipated.
Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Miss Sasato, where are you? Woman, what aren't you doing on the boat? Over there, look. Looks like she's reading something. Yeah, that was another question I had. Are we gonna find out? Wait, what? Hold it indeed. Miss Sasato, wait, what are you doing? We're gonna find out how she knew about the Hound of Baskervilles.
Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here?
We came as soon as we could after the trial, I mean. We heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Man, she could have been with us in the trial this whole time.
Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go?
It went well. She was acquitted. No.
That's wonderful. Really wonderful news.
The book you're about to throw into the sea. The Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Why'd you throw that?
Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell.
You're saying goodbye to law? You, Sasato-san? Would I be correct in assuming? It's because of the peepo, Miss Sasato. Because you made tampered with the crime scene, I guess?
I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. That reminds me. How did you ever come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh yes, we had a wonderful time.
Did she steal that?
But Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun. I still root us on, Ben.
Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice it for ages.
You got a point, though.
So on a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flapper mat. So I put it up my sleeve. Really? And then I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Winnebank's shop with it later that night. I see. And then... Ah, Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo. Right. After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind.
The storeroom door, you mean?
Yes, if Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know.
So, you used the cat flapper mat to make the peephole in the door.
As captured in a photographic print of the shop. By one of Haley's red-handed recorders.
Indeed, it was one of the first important at that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
When I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remember that trial 2 months earlier.
Trial of Magnus McGilded?
I thought about how he manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windibank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing.
You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime?
That's right, but then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case.
What do you mean?
Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have to be a way to see beyond the door.
Ah. For which, the peephole would be the very thing.
Only the people I made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
The possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? Trap? Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even the police. I know. I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong, a criminal offense even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan.
She really does think of everything. Yeah. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. Ah. You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So Mr. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake and Miss Lestrade's. Miss Sato.
The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I lost a little of my faith in the law.
Oh?
I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant.
What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Green is the one who lied in the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Mrs. Sato, what you did saved Gina's life.
Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too, from my regrets.
Aww. Can we actually get a scene of them hugging goodbye, please? Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured. Yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure.
But the revelation that the music box disc contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration.
Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was.
Oh, it wasn't?
There's a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator. And she said that the majority of sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. As one would expect, after all, we were talking about secret government communications. No doubt that they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood, should they have been intercepted. In cipher, I see. So then we can never have hoped to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. So... Wait, what did he say? Asogi. What?
Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Wait, Iris, what did you just say? Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you?
Means something. Wait, where did it... Wait. What? Asogi was the name of my best friend.
What? But how? How did you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down during the trial before when the message was playing on the music.
No! She described it on the fly? She really is a genius.
I thought the message
Please don't tell me Asogi was in on it? No, please don't!
I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. Whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Oh? It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages.
I don't believe it. Are you saying...
That's right, I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before. But I think it's based on the I-Ra-Ha pentagram, isn't it?
You mean to say that in Japanese Morse code, the message says Asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that?
Mr. Sato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code?
Yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications.
Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version?
Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please. Of course.
Oh my gosh.
What can this possibly mean?
Whatever is in that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes, it's made the color drain from Sasato-san's face. What is going on?
There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications?
I don't understand the reason why. The message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4 names.
The first is Keisogi.
Oh, so people were getting intel on us, maybe. Kazuma Sogi, why? Why was his name on that disc?
The second is Shin.
Shin? I don't recognize that name.
The third is T. Gregson.
Never mind it. Gregson? What? Oh, Tobias, yeah. Oh, it seemed Tobias Gregson is the third man on the list. And what's his name doing in a secret government communication as well?
And the last name?
Let me guess. Before she puts it, I'm gonna say. I was thinking probably Van Zykes, but I don't know. Probably not. McGilded. What's the matter, Mr. Sato?
It's just so strange, so unexpected. What is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense. The last name is J. Wilson.
What?
What?
Wilson? Oh, okay. Okay. Then this is a good thing. Maybe this is a good thing. If Gregson's name is on it, and then Wilson and Asogi, Maybe they weren't spies, but someone knew that them four were working for the government, like government spies, not spying on the government. That's what I'm hoping. There's no way Asogi was a bad person.
John H. Wilson? You mean Daddy?
Oh my gosh. Sorry for the whole moment they mentioned Asogi, I thought like that meant he was like receiving it and was evil. I don't know. Okay, we're good. We're good now. We're good. At least that's what I'm hoping to believe. I don't want Cosmo to be bad.
It only says J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. And after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4. And that's the end of the message, or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris.
Just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. It would appear that in this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan.
So Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runo come from. Oh well. No, it's not very likely really, is it?
Are we gonna tell her?
I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them.
We don't know that person. Yeah, we don't know who Shin is. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. Look, we need to tell her. I think it's better to give her closure than to lead her on, you know? And I get she's young and we don't want to tell her that, but she's very smart, you know? It's so strange. Somehow in solving the case of Mr. Winnebank's murder today, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave.
I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside.
Oh, great. You better get on that boat. Well, this kind of ruins the goodbye because I'm too shooken up to properly tell her goodbye now.
Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon.
Yes, it seems so.
I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change into a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. You really going then, Susie?
I wish you a safe passage, Miss Sato.
Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best.
Mrs. Sato, I had hoped to have you always at my side to guide me and support me. Oh, gosh darn it, me.
Mr. Naruhodo,
please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. Oh, just crying.
I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it. Really, Susie? Oh, now don't forget, Iris, I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Ah.
Oh yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise.
Definitely, Iris. Oh,
definitely, Iris.
Oh. And she needs to color the Daruma eye. Yes.
Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes?
Do you remember the first time we met?
Yes, of course. On the SS Bureau when I was dragged out from that wardrobe still half asleep. If I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with the Sasato takedown.
You know very well that I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I felt somehow straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy.
Mr. Sato.
And my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that. I'll be back soon. Farewell until then.
Aww. I'm gonna miss her. Oh good, we get a cutscene.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least.
The first volume.
Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
Aw. Goodbye. Oh, the cat's there too.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead.
For Phoenix Wright, maybe.
Okay, sorry.
But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Oh, he's playing his violin.
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Aw. Oh. No, okay. Sholmes is like, ha! You thought you were gonna see credits now, but you're wrong. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Mr. Sholmes? I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently. What? What did he do? Did he steal a train?
Caused such a commotion on the line, all the other trains had to wait at stations.
Oh no. Really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. Oh, gee, thanks, Sholmes. Huh? Huh? I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Mr. Sato...
You love defending yourself in court.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See?
Oh. Mr. Sholmes? Yes. A word if you don't mind? Oh, here it comes. Why, certainly. Any word you like. Bellow it out loud, my dear fellow. Get ready, guys. Say it with me. Y'all ready?
Oh yes, I love those words, and I know just the one he'll use here.
Then, I really must say... Objection! Let's go! Oh. Oh, that was good. Hang on, let me see if there's any, like, dialogue. If not, then we could talk about it. Usually they'll have, like, all the characters talk about what they've been up to. Yeah. So, well, hang on, I'll give you my final thoughts after this. In the following weeks, hundreds of music box... Oh, shoot. Something was afoot, though it transpired as I had ordered them all myself. So I advertised them for sale with used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. The money I've earned, consulting detective work pays a pittance by comparison. Oh, gee.
I haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Hilly usually cooks me breakfast.
I want breakfast, by the way.
Well, cooks is an overstatement for some dry toast and insipid coffee.
Oh.
I do miss Susie and a lovely Japanese breakfast.
Hey, at least Sholmes is trying, okay? Aw. Iris was a very cute, like, little, like, character to follow you around and everything.
Witness, your testimony is riddled with contradictions.
Exactly, really? Do Cowboy and Going tied under rare stakes themselves? Forgot that's the voice again. Well, I do, no sir. Knows his father is an innocent man, or are you calling my son a liar? Witnesses, my courtroom is no place for your petty arguments. I forgot what voices I gave. Oh, man. I never ever gonna say that judge in the sequel. Oh, Hasanaga!
Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, I laid low on the steamship for a while. But last night, I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board.
I've done nothing wrong! All I did was give Wagahai's offspring refuge in my pocket! A man brings some gins on board and suddenly he's a hardened criminal! It's not fair! Oh. Yeah, I really thought we were gonna see Hasanaga some more. Like, since he made an appearance in the second case, I was like, oh, he's gonna be around in all the other cases. Then no.
Scientific investigation will be the gold standard for policing in the new age. I dream of a world governed by tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment.
I thought he was gonna be evil, but I guess not.
Oh, wait a minute! Oh, Kazuma's name on the thing!
Didn't Hasanaga say that he thought maybe someone would be after Kazuma? That's why he went with him on the boat?
The latest Rents magazine is out and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote, I get a standing ovation. Want to hear it? Huh. Not bad, I suppose. An amateur.
So that means Hasanaga knows something then, right? And that's why the whole her ladyship puts me to shame. That's why they were sending Kazuma out from Japan to London. Because I guess he was working for both governments.
Been visiting the old girl on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those bally stares every day has done wonders for the dicky peg. Managing rather well.
Sorry. I hope y'all read what he said. Sorry. After voicing his lines, it finally gave out at the last bit of dialogue.
Raleigh is back on the beat again. Oh, thanks to the Reaper. There's nothing I enjoy more these days than hunting out small change in the gutter. I'm about to Bobby now, looking at the Londoners. They're dropped half pennies and my lovely wife.
I know their voices are all different now.
Ooh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh.
Bam, 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 bam. Not many more characters left, right? Oh, ha!
Looks like I'm going to be doing some time for a bit now. But Iris comes every day for a natter, so it ain't too boring. She's always going on about them cases what Jones is looking into. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them.
Oh, goodbye, Gina. I'm so sorry I did you injustice with your voice. I promise if you show up in the next game, I will be different, okay? Oh, I will say I won't miss voicing you, though.
Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets, please.
Get up here, bruv. That ain't what the ass we used to do.
We got time in here to play and come back with Middleton and Skulkin's Milk Run, right?
This is interesting.
The three must go whatsits. Milking the neighborhood for all its wealth.
That's interesting that they show the villain. Like, they never show killers in these moments, so that's interesting. And he was the final killer, too. Ah. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, Susato!
This past 6 months have been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Now, Harusan, I promise. Your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I'll leave you with many memories. And a heartfelt wish.
Can I have that orange?
That life will treat you well.
Aww. Susato was probably... Oh gosh, I love her. I loved her as an assistant. The Daruma doll, did she color it in before she left? Oh no, they're zooming in on the picture, not the doll. Oh, look at that. Look at the cat, he's taking the hat. It's cute. Oh, it's a cute picture. Oh. For a second, I thought maybe I could move around. Wait, can you? No! Literally, the moment I touched the controller, they started walking. I thought I was doing that. I was about to bust out laugh. Like, I was about to freak out. Oh, man. Oh, that's cool that they even, like, decided to even animate him walking. And look at this. This is cool. Oh. I gotta say, though, this was a really fun game. I feel like it was very long, and that's kind of the problem with newer Ace Attorney games, is they're so long. I get, you know, give you your money's worth and all that, but man, they kind of like showed a lot of flashbacks and stuff that I'm just like, hey, stop showing him. We could cut some time off. But it was fun. I really liked it. I thought the animations looked so good. I don't know how much changed between the 3DS version of this and the Switch version. Beautiful game though, definitely. It was really good. You get to see all the people again, yeah. Even the killers, which is interesting. I do like, so one thing that I hate is how Kazuma was killed. I don't mind Kazuma dying. You know, they definitely set him up to be like kind of like someone you look up to and you miss dearly and all that. His whole death was just terrible. I wish he was killed with a cause. I hated that. And then like what they were hinting at the very beginning, that like Kazuma needed protection or whatever because he had like a secret mission, you know. And he didn't even die for that cause. He died because of a misunderstanding, which sucked. But they're definitely, like, they're leading up to something in the next game. And I think that's what's very interesting, because he stayed behind. Oh my god, I didn't notice that, you're right! Because he died. Oh, Jigsaw. Oh, that's neat. I mean, it's not neat, it's sad, but that's interesting. I didn't even realize now, and now Sasato's going to be walking with him. Oh, man. Yeah, he didn't really get far, did he? But I think it's really interesting that they're setting up for the second game. No other Ace Attorney game's ever done that. They'll throw like stuff at you at the beginning of each game, and then it's all usually unraveled by the fourth and mostly the fifth case. This game, there's a lot of unanswered questions that they were already setting up for a sequel, which is interesting. So I only feel like that's only going to make the sequel a lot stronger than, like, let's say how like Justice for All was a sequel to the first Phoenix Wright, because, you know, Phoenix Wright 1, they wrapped everything up, and they do that with every other game that comes out. They wrap up the story right there, and then they just kind of like make up a new storyline. Well, this one, they're kind of like just bringing it along, so that's going to be cool, because there's a lot of questions, like, how does Sasato know about Baskervilles? What is going on with Kazuma and all the other people's names on that? How that's all going to come into play. I still feel like that lady from the first case, I don't remember her name, the English lady that killed Wilson, I still feel like she's going to have to come into play or something, right? And I can assume maybe she was working with some people that were trying to like thwart the British government or whatever. Maybe that's why she killed Wilson. Like, that was her task, and she's like kind of like a spy or something. Also, I really do feel like they are setting up something with the Crystal Palace. I have a feeling. Giselle Brett, yes, her. Also, there's still some more to see with Van Zykes. You know, we didn't really. Usually prosecutors, like, we get their story by the last case of the game. We didn't fully get all his story. He's definitely got more mystery surrounding him. So I think that's going to be a cool thing that they're bringing over between games. The final case was interesting, I have to say. It wasn't like that good of a final case compared to other games. You know, it really didn't. But it was okay. Also, I do want to know if Sasato's dad's gonna be okay. I guess we'll find out too. I'm sure he'll be okay. Man, and they really set up great character development too for like Naruhodo, you know. because he's like a rookie prosecutor or I'm sorry, rookie defense lawyer, and he's learning throughout the whole game what it means to be a lawyer and trust. It's really good. A Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Wow. That was good. And I do like... Oh, look at that picture. That's cool. Awarded fleeting farewell. And I do like how... Hang on, let's just see real quick if anything else is there. Like a little after credit scene or something leading up to the second game? Probably not. I doubt it. She's gonna put me back at the title. Oh hey! It changed. What was I saying? Shoot. I'm trying to remember where my thoughts were. I lose my thoughts so easily. I don't even remember what I was saying, but yeah. Good game. Oh yeah, Naruto. That's what it was. They definitely like giving him like that, like he's maturing and growing throughout the game. I'm sure that only like continues in the sequel. Oh wow. Do we get to see our medals? Ooh, here we go. Special contents. You know, I noticed that was like those were silver medals. Maybe you're supposed to get like a perfect to get accolades. Oh. And now we get to finally see what we've been all earning. Hang on, let's see here. We're being awarded all the other accolades. I also really liked how the game made Case 2 so different. That was also the other thing I was thinking. The game just like went above my expectations. As like a first game in this new spin-off series, it was really good, and then it's just like I'm so used to like, okay, Case 2, you're going to court, you're gonna meet the new prosecutor, and they're like, haha, nope, that's Case 3. Case 2, you're just investigating. Which was fun, because it made the game feel different throughout each case. That was really cool. I don't know, especially how Case 3 was, it was an okay case on its own, but it played a bigger part for the final case, you know? McGilda, you know, you get to see how evil of a person he was, and how you defended him. For completion of episode 1 of the Great Ace Attorney 2. Oh, okay, so this is not just for the first game. Okay, well. For completion of all of the extra escapade adventure. What? We're playing the game in all available outfits. What? For having dug around to find every argument about shovels and spades. Okay. For having wrung your hands through every debate about ladders and stuff. It's coming back. Okay. Spoiler. Oh, shoot. This is definitely spoilers. All right. Iris' homemade suit. Oh, look at that. Oh, he looks cool. Oh, that's neato. Oh, wow. Look at her. Japanese jumble mix. Oh, wow. I like his little mask. So you didn't know about the ladder and step ladder thing, so okay, I'm glad. I got super scared for a second, Jigsaw, that I accidentally spoiled ladders and step ladders for you. You already knew about it, okay. Like, I'm okay with spoiling myself. But for you, I'm okay. Yeah. Outfits are only available for the use of the Great Ace Attorney 2. Alright, well, you know what? We're gonna use the outfits. At least for the start of the next game. No, we do play it. Play some short extra escapade. What is all of this? Excuse me? The defendant's antechamber. In the first of the 8 escapades, Ryunosuke finds 2 troublemaking witnesses from his earlier trial having a battle of words on the defendant's antechamber. Ooh, okay. Maybe we'll do like a special stream at one point where we just go and look at all this. I'm imagining they're not probably too long on their own, but maybe as a whole it would be nice. You've been using the Japanese outfits as investigation outfits, and the Irish outfits as court outfits. Oh, there you go. That's how you. That's a way to do it. Now you swap it up. Galleries. This all just portraits. I like how it's called moving pictures. Wait, that's stop it. Remote does it twice. Special trial 20. Wait. I don't think I've actually ever seen this. If this was like, hang on, I gotta see this real quick. Oh, look, you could pause it too. Look at the audience. Oh, neat. This is funny. Especially like older looking sprites.
準備以前にどこですかここは大審院大日本帝国の法廷です。いわゆる明治時代のいわゆる明治時代あ、それ
Oh, look at Maya.
もしかしてご先祖様とかいるのかも。
もっと驚こうよ、迷いちゃん。どうやら時空がねじれたようです。あまり気にしないこと。
I wonder though. I'm kind of like thinking of something else here. Wait. Is it gonna be Edgeworth? Oh.
なんというか、僕
That's
弁
funny.
護士なのですけど。今日はいろいろな都合でそちらに立っていたのです。
I wonder though, the whole ace and spades thing, is that only in the first game? And the ladder and step ladder is only in the second game? I wonder if that's a thing, if that's it. If so, I must have missed more. I said ace and spades. Spades and shovels, my bad. Ace and spades. I'm thinking like a card. When I hear the word spade, that's what I immediately think of.
それではせっかくなのでお互い自己紹介を願いましょうか。僕は弁護士のなるほどゆうのすけであります。
なるほど。お兄様。
Oh look, they even have Sato.
何しろギザギザ
You both have the same spikiness.
生き別れの兄にはあいにく覚えがありません。聞いたことがあるぞ。僕の先祖に
It's weird seeing them look like that.
名前の弁護士がいるって。
じゃあおじいさんは
Gramps over there.
僕のご先祖様？
今さりげなくおじいさん呼ばわり
Try like great grandfather.
脳に老け込んだ気分です。
やっぱりそういうことだったんだ。お隣のあなたは
It's one of my
私
ancestors.
のご先祖様なんですね。
Magda's
お
music.
しとやかで凛としてて、まさに
Basically my ideal ancestor. They're nothing alike.
迷いです。私は法務助手の御言葉すさとでございますが。
完全に赤の他人だったね。
なんだろう、この強烈ながっかり感。なんだか申し訳ございません。せっかくですから、この際、綾里家の先祖に
There you
なっ
go.
てください。
She might marry
綾
one.
里すさと、確かに語呂は良いかと存じますが。
人類史上かつてない不条理
Wow, this is
され
long.
ましたね。すさとさん。
語呂はいいのにな。綾里すさと。
本日は逆転裁判15周年の1年
There's a new Ace Attorney game, and it's not you, Phoenix.
15周年ですか？ええ、2001年初代逆転裁判が
How long
誕
is
生。
this?
それを記念してこの1年いろいろやってきましたね。
I'm just gonna skip it. Sure, it's on YouTube too. Wait, what's all this? Inosuke Naruhado, 7 Days of Sin, Evening of Day 1. What is this? Or is this just more promotion?
罪深き7日間
I'll just kind of like look at one real quick. Nah, I'm just gonna skip it. I don't care. There's a lot of them. Jeez. Okay, portraits. Good to see pictures of everyone. Oh, look at it! Look at his different hairstyles. Oh, the first few definitely have a more Phoenix feel to it. I'm glad that they didn't like just outright give him like a Phoenix-looking hairstyle. Oh wow, she looks like Kiki in that first one right there of her. Bum, 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 bam, bam, bam. Do, 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 do. It looks like he's got brown hair there. Steam. Dun, dun, dun. Oh wow! Look at her with the. I like her design. Doesn't look too bad. Ooh! Oh, he would have. Oh, I'm so glad they didn't give him the glasses. He would have looked so pompous. He would have just looked like a know-it-all. Ooh, look at that hair. You know, why does he? Oh, the one to the right, I guess it's because of the little red. It reminds me of Sebastian the Best. Oh man, wow, he looks like they could give him. They had so many different designs. They didn't know what to choose. Transformer backpack. It's that yeah, you're right. You get to see like a better look of it. I like it. That it's supposed to be like her and Sholmes. So like there. Bum, bum, bum. Whoa! Look at all the. Ugh. I love Pain's ancestors, right? Oh wow! You get to see Santa Claus. The first set of jurors. We need a picture of Granny from right here and then the doctor. Oh, they don't have any... Really? They don't have any artwork for the second set of jurors? What the heck? That's kind of rude. Unlocked them. Oh, okay. No spoilers here. You can zoom in, you think, or click on it. Oh. Oh! Oh, what? Wow! They actually give, like, That's neato. I didn't even know you could click on it. Interesting. It's a lot to read. You can see the music and all that. Alright, cool. Bum, bum, bum. Oh. Ooh, different music! Okay, just a little sneak peek, huh? Okay. Hang on. I want a little sneak peek. The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. The Memoirs of the Clouded Cockerel. Oh no, that's gonna come back into play? The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Oh. Okay, I won't look at the other two, because I don't know if Jigsaw wants to see that or not. I know she's on case 3, so not gonna look at it, but interesting. Okay.